Now we are going to start with a unit that is the reproduction. You know that reproduction is very important because due to reproduction only we have so many individuals who are surviving. So reproduction actually refers to, it is the process, reproduction is a process of producing young ones. Reproduction is a process of producing young ones. Now actually we have two kinds of reproduction. So we see that we have mainly two types of reproduction. One is the asexual reproduction, other is the sexual reproduction. Now what is the difference between two? Asexual reproduction is uniparental. Asexual reproduction is uniparental. That means only one parent is involved in it. But if we talk about sexual reproduction, it is biparental. Two parents are involved. In asexual reproduction, the offspring, that means the young one we generally, the term generally used for the young one is the offspring. That is the offspring. So the offspring produced in case of asexual reproduction is exactly same of the parent, exactly same as that of parent. That means after formation of offspring, you cannot distinguish that which is the parent and which is the new one. So that means we can say that offspring is clone of parent. Clone means carbon copy. So offspring is clone of parent. But in sexual one, what we observe actually that the offspring produced is not exactly similar. Offspring produced is not exactly similar, because the offspring in sexual reproduction, as there are two parents involved, that is mother, father or male, female. So the offspring will inherit some characters from mother, some characters from father, and some characters will blend together to form new characters. So that is why the offspring produced in case of sexual reproduction is not clone of parent. As you all know that you like in humans the sexual reproduction occur, we have two parents, that is we are biparental. So what happened in that case, you are not carbon copy of your father or your mother. There are certain characters which you inherit from mother and some from father, and there are certain characters which just blend together in order to form a new character, because you have certain kind of dissimilarities also as compared to your parents. So that means offspring is not exactly similar to the parent in case of the sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, no fertilization take place because it is uniparental, so there is no other parent with which the fusion of sperm or egg can take place. So that means no fertilization occur in this case. But if we talk about sexual one, so in this the fertilization take place because it is biparental. So obviously male will produce egg and female will male will release sperm and female will lay eggs, and we have sperm and egg and they can fuse actually, and the fusion of sperm and egg is called as fertilization. We will be doing in detail. So as far as we are differentiating among the two types, so in sexual fertilization takes place. In sexual fertilization takes place. In asexual reproduction, it has no contribution towards evolution. It has no contribution towards evolution. But if we observe sexual reproduction, it leads to evolution. It leads to evolution. Now what is evolution? Evolution is the gradual sequence of changes that took place over millions of years ago and which leads to development of entirely new species is called as evolution. As we all know that our species is being originated from the monkeys. We both are from the same species. So that means the evolution has taken place because we have originated from our ancestors are monkeys. So that means the gradual sequence of changes that took place over a period of time, which leads to development of new characters, and accumulation of those new characters just leads to evolution. So sexual reproduction actually leads to evolution, but in case of asexual, it has no contribution. As I told you that the offspring which is produced is exactly similar to that of the parent. So that means no evolution is there. In asexual reproduction, cell division occur by, like how the cell divides, it divides by binary fission, multiple fission. There are certain methods. like we have fragmentation. So we'll be discussing later. So there are few other methods which are employed. But in case of sexual reproduction, the cell division occur by mitosis and meiosis, which are the two fundamental processes of the cell divisions. So that is, it occurs by mitosis and meiosis. So example for the cell division we have is the like bacteria, hydra, we have so many, like we have this thing yeast. They all reproduce asexually, but sexually we know that the common example is man. We all know that we in our sexual reproduction take place, so man is an example for the sexual reproduction. Now what we'll be doing is, like, we'll be first starting with the sexual reproduction and then we'll come to the asexual reproduction. So here we are starting with the sexual reproduction. So see what is there. In sexual reproduction, you already know it is biparental, offspring is not exactly similar, fertilization takes place, evolution, it leads to evolution, and cell division occur by mitosis and meiosis, example man. So I'm just going to explain you sexual reproduction in humans first. So see what we have actually, we know that we have sexes. We have sexes in us, that is we have two sexes, one is male, other is female. And we all know men is male and woman is female. Then the sex, because we have different sexes, so they are you can say that two sexes exist like this because these sexes have reproductive organs. They have reproductive organs, and their reproductive organs have been given assigned a special name that is called as gonads. So this is the other name for the reproductive organs, that is the gonad. So in male, reproductive organ is testes, and in female, reproductive organ is ovaries. So these are the reproductive organs. Now these reproductive organs will actually produce, these gonads are going to produce gametes. They are going to produce gametes. Now what is gamete? Gametes are the cell that actually participate in fertilization. Gametes are the cells which actually participate in fertilization. So the male gonad testis is going to produce obviously the male gonad, the male gamete. So testis produce gamete, that is the sperm. And ovaries produce female gamete, that is the egg. We can also call egg as ovum. We can also call egg as ovum. Now what happens is that these sperm and egg are going to fuse. These sperm and egg are going to fuse. Sperm look like this. I am just going to draw a certain. It looks like this kind of thing, and egg we know is certain. We will be taking diagram in detail also. So as for now, I am just telling you that sperm is like this, or you can make it like this also. So and eggs are like this. So now sperms and eggs are going to fuse. The next step is, and when they fuse, that process is called as fertilization. That process is called as fertilization. And as a result of fertilization, what we get is, we get the zygote. We get the zygote. So zygote is formed as a result of fusion between the sperm and the egg. So here we have the zygote. Then, so you may get a question like this, that what is the fusion of male gamete with female gamete is called? Then you will be saying that the fusion is called as fertilization. And secondly, you can get a question that name the first cell formed as a result of fertilization. So that is always zygote. Then zygote undergoes a series of changes. It transforms into an embryo. That is the ball of cells, which undergoes various developmental stages and form fetus. form a fetus. And you know that what is fetus? Fetus is a fully developed organism which have all the organs which are developed, but it is the child, you can say, but it is not delivered out. It is still present in the mother's womb. So that time the stage is called as fetus. So till the time it is not being delivered, but it is fully developed with organs and all everything, then it is called as fetus. So this is what is a basic thing which happens actually. Now, when we talk of fertilization, so you know that fertilization is basically of two types. Fertilization is basically of two types. That is external fertilization and internal fertilization. So fertilization we have is that it is of two types, that is the external and internal. So now what is the difference between the two? See, external fertilization is that in which the fusion of sperm and egg are going to take place outside the parent's body. For example, it is seen in aquatic animals. So what they do actually, they gather in groups, the male and female aquatic animals, like they have different sexes we know. So male and female, they just gather in groups in water. Male release sperm and female lay eggs in the water. And we know that males, the sperms are motile, so sperms just move along with the water, showing a lashing movement, and there the eggs, when they meet egg, they just fuse in the water, and that means it lead to the development of zygote again in the water. Then zygote undergoes a series of changes, that means it undergoes a developmental stages, and those developmental stages are called as larva. That is called as larva, but that larva is not seen in case of internal fertilization. There the developmental stages are something else, so because it is occurring in the parent's body. But in external fertilization, we see that zygote is produced in the water, it undergoes a developmental changes again in the water, and parents have to do nothing with it. So it undergoes a various larval stages and finally forms an adult. So this is what is an external fertilization. So you have seen that no parent is involved in the fertilization, they have just released their gametes, and the fusion is occurring in the water itself, and even the developmental stages are occurring in the water. So that means no parent body is being used here, so therefore it is called as external fertilization. But as far as internal fertilization is concerned, as you all know that in humans, in us, the internal fertilization occurs. So what happens actually? Male release sperm into female's body, and the fertilization occurs in the female's body, and when the zygote transforms into zygote undergoes various developmental stages, that is still in the parent's body, and when the organism is fully formed, then it is delivered out. So that means that this kind of reproduction, because it involves the parent body, that is particularly of mother, so that is why this fertilization is called as internal fertilization, because it is making use of parent body. So that is something as internal fertilization. The example, all humans, we show internal fertilization. So if somebody asks you about this, so you are going to say that in external fertilization, the fertilization occur outside the parent's body, and you can explain that aquatic phenomena. And in case of internal fertilization, it occurs within the parent's body. So that means one parent is involved, that fertilization takes place in one parent, that is the mother, and the organism fully develop in mother's body, and when it is fully developed, it is expelled out. That means it is parturated, or you can say it is just delivered out. So this is what is an external and internal fertilization. So I think you got it, you have an idea about the basic terms which we are going to use in sexual reproduction. So now we are going to start with the reproductive organs of the detailed study of the reproductive organs.